Welcome back to Pace Immigration. One more time, the speed round with Andy Semichuk, lawyer with Pace Immigration. Andy, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, let's answer the questions from the people. Andy, number one, would you please tell me about arranged employment in Canada? What is it?
Okay, you're a worker overseas and you want to come to Canada. In some categories, most categories actually, you need someone, an employer, to offer you a job. If someone offers you a permanent job, working, for example, as a cook in a restaurant, using this arranged employment vehicle, which is like Canada's Department of Labor approves this job as something that cannot be filled by Canadian workers, that opens the door for you to come to Canada. So that's called arranged employment, an arranged employment opinion. And that's the first step to permanent residence in Canada for a skilled worker overseas that wants to come here.
Who takes the initiative on that? Is that the employer and then it's the person reacting to that, or can someone put those wheels in motion?
I think realistically, if you're overseas, you've got to have some kind of connection to Canada, maybe a family member, a friend, someone you went to school with, and you get that person to help find the employer and work with the employer to get that thing rolling. And so the first step is inside Canada, and then the second step is you apply to come into Canada.
Okay, let's go to number two. It says, could you tell me what you would charge for the PNP program for immigration? So first of all, what is PNP? Second of all, let's talk money.
Okay. That's a kind of a hairy question. PNP, there are provincial programs. All of the provinces in Canada have provincial immigration programs. So that's like asking how much is a ticket on Air Canada? Well, where are you going? What date? Is it first class or economy? And there are questions like that. Same with this question. Depends on the PNP program, and it depends what kind of category you're in. However, as a general rule, because the market is so competitive and lawyers and consultants are competing with one another on price, usually you have a fixed price. I'm going to say under $5,000 for something of this nature is probably fair cost.
So $5,000.
Yeah.
About
roughly.
what a plane ticket is.
Under.
Now.
Yeah.
It's getting out of hand. You got to pay for sandwiches now when you go on.
But what can you do?
Number three, I'm an Egyptian system administrator specializing in Linux. What is Linux anyway?
I think it's a computer program, a software program.
Okay, so this guy's got specialization in Linux. He says, I've got references, and he's only got 6 months of experience. He says, any chance?
Answer quickly, and hardly any chance. You need at least a year's experience on most of the programs in Canada. And the best thing for him is keep going for at least another half a year. After 1 year's experience, that's when you start fitting into the sort of radar screen of potential possibilities for immigrating to Canada.
Okay. Now, I've got a good one for you here. This is part two of our Filipino soap opera, I believe. Okay. This guy wrote and asked about some marriage stuff last week. Now he's written in, and he says, number four, what will my Filipino girlfriend require to get a visitor's visa? I can provide room and board and pay for her plane ticket. What else would you require for a visitor's visa? Thank you.
Okay.
And he did say later on, by the way, I should add that she's, I think, coming from Hong Kong, but she's Filipino.
Okay. Well, here's the challenge. Any good-looking young single woman from the Philippines who wants to come to Canada or even the United States is not going to get a visitor's visa very easily, because they know someone like that, when they step off the airplane, there are going to be 5 guys lined up to take her out on dates and so on. Before you know it, she's married in Canada. And they don't want people to come to Canada as visitors and then get married and apply. They want you to apply from overseas. So a boyfriend inviting a woman from the Philippines to come to Canada on a visit is like the kiss of death for a visitor's application for a woman coming from the Philippines and most of the other countries, especially if they're young, good-looking, attractive, professional, or anything like this. Sadly, that's just the way it is in immigration. You got to be ugly. You got to be. you got.
So me and you have a great chance.
Oh
then.
yeah, we're all set. But that's kidding. All kidding aside, though, this romantic connection is a problem because it signals to the immigration officials, well, this person is not going to go back once they come to Canada. They're going to end up probably marrying this kid or this man or whatever, And the result is very hard to get a visitor's visa that way.
And they have no problem with that. So in other words, it's basically get married first, prove it, and then they can come over.
That's the way, yes. Or let's say this woman has relatives in Canada, say an auntie or aunt or uncle or someone like that.
Yeah.
And maybe they have a family get-together. Maybe someone's getting married, a family member. An invitation to something like that would fare much better than a young guy inviting his girlfriend to Canada on a visit. That one's a non-starter.
Okay. Number 5. It's almost over. It makes me sad. Number 5. Hello there. What is the time limit for a temporary foreign worker in Ontario? And if someone wants to reside in Canada, is it possible for someone to be a temporary foreign worker, then can switch to permanent resident?
Okay. The answer is 4 plus 4. 4 years is the maximum time you can be under the new regulations as a temporary foreign worker in Canada before you have to go back. And if you do have to go back to your country of origin, you have to wait 4 years before you can come back in as a temporary worker.
Okay.
As far as adjusting from temporary worker to permanent resident in Canada, if you work in Canada for 2 years under the Canadian Experience class in a skilled worker position and you speak English, you pass the IELTS test, then you can adjust your status and become a permanent resident in Canada under that program.
Excellent. So somebody could see, like, if they're coming to the end of their tenure as a temporary foreign worker, they can give you a call. You can get things going towards
Yes.
the permanent residency.
Absolutely, yes.
Awesome. There you go. That's the speed round. Thank you once again, Andy.
Okay.
And we'll see you next week. Everybody else, make sure to write those questions in LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, the blog, YouTube, however you want to get a hold of Andy. Put your questions down, and we will answer them for you. Bye for now.